The secret life of the shy child, what no one ever saw. We begin not with noise, but with a trembling quietness, the kind you can almost hear in your bones. If you've ever been the shy child, or known one, you already understand that there are two worlds. The one everyone sees, and the one that exists just beneath the surface, where thoughts echo louder than voices and every small detail feels earth-shaking. Today we are going to walk into that hidden world together. And as we go, I want you to ask yourself a haunting question. What if the quietest people are holding the biggest stories? Imagine a child who sits at the edge of the playground, tracing circles in the dirt, watching other children run like chaos embodied. To everyone else, that child seems afraid, fragile, or simply uninterested. But inside, a different reality is happening. Their mind is racing, analyzing the meaning behind every movement, every facial expression, every strange rule that humans follow without ever explaining. They're studying life the way a philosopher studies the universe, not through words, but through an intensity that most people overlook. But there is also fear. A shy child lives with two opposing instincts, the desire to connect and the fear of being seen. They want to step forward, to speak, to be heard, but something inside pulls them back. It's like standing on the shore of a vast ocean you want to swim, yet every wave feels powerful enough to drag you under. And maybe you know that feeling too, wanting the world, but being terrified of your own voice. Yet what nobody realizes is that shy children are constantly building inner strength. They learn endurance from holding in words. They learn observation from silence. They learn empathy from staying on the sidelines. And they learn introspection from being alone with their thoughts. The world mistakes these things as weakness, but you and I know better. They are the foundation of emotional genius.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Think about your childhood for a moment. How many times did you stay quiet even though your heart was loud? How many moments did you watch unfold in front of you, wanting to act but being paralyzed by an invisible wall? And how many times did you wonder if something was wrong with you simply because you didn't step forward the way others did? What if nothing was wrong with you at all? What if your silence was your first superpower? A shy child learns the art of noticing. They notice the slight changes in tone when someone speaks. They notice the way people avoid eye contact when they're lying. They notice the loneliness hiding behind the loudest laugh. And they notice who is kind even when nobody is watching. While others rush through life, the shy child is collecting truths like rare treasures, truths about people, truths about emotions, truths about how unpredictable and fragile everything really is. But here's where the philosophical journey gets deeper. Shyness is rarely about a lack of confidence. It is often about an overwhelming awareness, too much perception, too much sensitivity, too much honesty about how unpredictable people can be. We fear what we cannot control. And shy children sense early that people are the most uncontrollable forces in the world. So they retreat inward, not because they are small, but because the world feels too big. Think about this. When you were shy, were you truly afraid of talking? Or were you afraid of being misunderstood? Maybe you feared saying something wrong, or being judged, or becoming the center of attention when your soul preferred the background. Maybe you weren't scared of people, you were scared of the unpredictable nature of their reactions. And while the world kept telling you speak up, nobody ever asked the more important question: what are you holding inside that others never bothered to understand? This is where the true secret life of the shy child begins. Beneath the quietness, there is a constant swirl of imagination, worlds built out of daydreams, stories crafted from the smallest observations, emotions felt so deeply they almost become physical sensations. Shy children don't just think, they feel in technicolor. And society, in its noise and speed, rarely makes room for them. Instead, the loudest people get the attention, the spotlight, the microphone. But here's the truth that no one wants to admit. Loudness is not depth. Noise is not wisdom. The crowd is not always right. The shy child watches all of this unfold and thinks, if only they knew what I'm thinking. But they don't speak, not because they can't, but because the world has not yet earned their words. So the shy child grows up carrying a secret, the secret of having lived an entire emotional universe in silence. Years later, they might reveal pieces of it in writing, art, creativity, or rare conversations where trust opens a doorway. And when they finally speak, others are stunned by the depth that should have been obvious all along. But I want to ask you something that might change the way you see your own past. If someone had truly understood you as a shy child, how different would your life be today? Would you have taken more risks? Would you have believed in yourself sooner? Would you have opened your heart without waiting for permission? Because here's the paradox: the shy child is never actually shy. They are overflowing with ideas, insights, and unspoken truths. The world mistook their silence for emptiness when it was really fullness beyond measure. And here is the final revelation for this first part. Shyness is not an obstacle, but an incubation. It is the gathering of strength before expression. It is the sharpening of perception before action. It is the creation of a deeper self before the world ever sees your true face. And if you are that shy child, whether in your past or still inside you now, then you possess something rare. The ability to see the world not as it appears, but as it truly is. And that ability, it can change everything. The hidden universe behind quiet eyes. Why silence tells the loudest truths. If part 1 revealed the inner world of the shy child, then this part asks us to go deeper into the hidden universe behind those quiet eyes, where silence does not mean emptiness but overfullness, where stillness is not lack of movement but the gathering of power, and where every quiet moment is a conversation with the unseen. Because silence is not just the absence of sound, silence is the presence of understanding. And the shy child, more than anyone, becomes a master of that understanding. But it comes with a cost, one that few ever recognize. Think for a moment about all the times you watched people speak effortlessly, laugh loudly, take up space without hesitation. You wondered how they did it, as if they were living in a reality where words were light and easy, not heavy like stones you had to drag across your tongue. But you also noticed something they didn't: the contradictions in their behavior, the little insecurities they tried to hide behind jokes, the moments where their words were just noise to fill the void. You saw through the performance. And that ability to see not just actions but intentions is the quiet superpower of the shy child. Yet this superpower grows in the dark because shy children rarely receive the guidance they deserve. Adults mistake their silence for weakness. Classmates mistake it for strangeness, and society mistakes it for lack of value. Nobody realizes that the shy child is constantly analyzing the meaning of existence at an age where others are still figuring out how to tie their shoes. They see patterns early. They sense emotional shifts before words confirm them. They feel the subtle sting of rejection even before it happens. They live with an awareness that is far too big for their small bodies. So the shy child learns to retreat inward, but the retreat is not a surrender, it is a strategic withdrawal. Inside their mind, they build entire universes of possibilities, rehearsing conversations, imagining different outcomes, building emotional blueprints for future selves. And yet, with every imagined scenario, there is also doubt. Doubt is the loyal companion of the shy soul. Will they understand me? Will they judge me? Will I say it right? But beneath the doubt, something else burns quietly. Desire. The desire to be seen for who they truly are, not the quiet mask they wear to survive. Ask yourself now, how much of your life has been shaped not by what you said, but by what you didn't say? How many opportunities drifted past because you hesitated 1 second too long? How many friendships, dreams, or transformations waited for you to step forward, but you stayed in the shadows because the spotlight felt too bright? These unspoken moments form the secret timeline of the shy child's life. But here's the truth. Silence shapes destiny just as much as action does, sometimes even more. Because in silence, you learn to listen not just to others, but to yourself. You hear your real fears, your real desires, your real intuition. And intuition becomes the compass that guides you when your voice cannot. Many shy children grow up becoming the kind of adults who feel danger before it happens, who sense when someone is trustworthy, who detect emotional imbalances in a room without being told anything. They move through life like deep-sea divers, navigating waters most people don't even know exist. But the philosophical dilemma emerges here. Is silence a gift or a curse? It depends. Silence becomes a gift when it transforms into clarity. Silence becomes a curse when it transforms into self-doubt. A shy child walks that line every single day. The more they understand, the more they feel. And the more they feel, the more they fear being misunderstood. This is why the shy soul often lives with a strange contradiction, craving connection while protecting themselves from it. Loving people yet fearing them. Wanting to be discovered yet hiding behind the curtains of their own thoughts. And we must ask, what if the world has misinterpreted shyness entirely? What if shyness isn't fear at all, but depth kept on a leash? What if shyness is not the inability to speak, but the refusal to waste words? What if the shy child is not socially weak, but spiritually strong in a way most people cannot comprehend? Because the shy child carries something inside that few ever understand. They experience life not on the surface, but at its core. And that depth, when finally expressed, becomes wisdom. The inner battle of the shy soul, where fear meets destiny. There comes a moment in every shy child's life when silence is no longer simply a refuge, it becomes a battlefield. Inside them, two powerful forces clash: the instinct to stay unseen and the longing to step into the world with all their unspoken brilliance. This internal conflict is not small. It is not mild. It is not something people can fix by saying, "Just be confident." No. This is a philosophical war, a war older than childhood itself. It is the war between fear and destiny. Shy children often feel like there are two versions of themselves. One is the quiet surface self, the one who avoids eye contact, stays on the edges, thinks carefully before speaking, and feels safer in observation than participation. But beneath that is a second self, burning, roaring, full of imagination, insight, emotional fire, and a longing to express something meaningful. And that second self is constantly pushing upward, begging to be seen. But the shy child fears what might happen if it does. They fear being exposed, being misunderstood, being judged before they even have the chance to reveal their true depth. We don't talk enough about how painful this internal split can be. Imagine living with a brilliant light inside you that you're convinced the world will mishandle. Imagine carrying thoughts so sharp and beautiful that you worry people won't understand them. Imagine having emotions so vivid that you fear showing them will drown others. When a shy child holds back, it is not because they are empty, it is because they are overflowing. And overflow can feel dangerous when you've never been taught how to let it spill safely. So the shy child becomes a master of holding things in: thoughts, dreams, fears, desires. They carry entire galaxies behind a quiet expression. People think they are calm, but inside they are lightning. People think they don't care, but inside they are feeling every vibration in the atmosphere. People think they are detached, but inside they are analyzing every nuance, every tone, every small act of kindness or cruelty. And because they see so much, they hesitate even more. The more you understand, the more carefully you step. Think of how many times you stayed quiet because the words you wanted to say felt too honest, too heavy, too real. Think of how many moments you chose silence over vulnerability because silence felt safer. Think of how many dreams you held close to your chest because the world felt too sharp for them. And then ask yourself, was your silence truly fear, or was it self-protection? Was it hesitation, or was it wisdom? And this leads us to a deeper truth. Shy children become shy adults when they're never given permission to reveal their depth. It isn't the silence that hurts them, it's the misunderstanding. The world often rewards loudness, boldness, and visibility. But what if the greatest breakthroughs, inventions, art, and emotional revolutions weren't born from loudness, but from the intense inner storms that quiet people carry for years before releasing them? We must look at the shy soul with new eyes. Their silence is not a flaw, it is a phase. It is the cocoon before transformation. It is the underwater breathing before resurfacing. It is the long inhale before the universe finally hears their voice. And destiny, in its strange, mysterious way, never forgets the shy child. It waits for them. It circles around them. It keeps presenting opportunities that match their hidden strengths, even if they don't always step forward at first. But here's the philosophical contradiction. Fear is often the guardian of destiny. Fear shows up not because you are weak, but because something meaningful is at stake. You don't fear what doesn't matter. You fear what your soul knows could change everything. And the shy child feels this truth intensely. They fear their own greatness as much as they fear their own voice. Ask yourself now, what is the great destiny your younger self sensed but didn't yet step into? What strength did you carry but never reveal? What talent did you hide because the world felt too unprepared for it? And more importantly, what part of yourself is still waiting for permission to emerge? Shy children grow up believing their silence is a cage, but what if it was training? What if quietness was preparing them to become the kind of person whose words actually matter when they finally speak? What if their destiny is not to remain silent, but to break silence in a way that shifts the world? Because somewhere deep inside every shy soul is a moment waiting to happen, the moment when the inner voice finally rises above the fear, when the quiet one awakens, when everything they held in becomes everything they give to the world. The awakening of the quiet one, when hidden strength finally breaks free. There is a turning point in every shy person's life, a moment that creeps in quietly yet hits the soul with the force of an earthquake. It rarely happens in public. There is no spotlight, no applause, no cinematic background music. It begins in the stillness, often in solitude, when the quiet one realizes something life-altering. I can no longer live as a shadow in my own story. That realization is the awakening, the moment the shy child's hidden strength finally begins to break free. And the world, whether it likes it or not, must adjust. This awakening doesn't start with boldness. It starts with an internal shift, a subtle rebellion against years of holding back. The shy soul notices they are tired of swallowing words, tired of dimming their own brilliance, tired of carrying ideas that deserve daylight. They begin to ask themselves deeper questions. What am I so afraid of? What have I been protecting? And what if the version of myself I've been hiding is the version I was meant to become? These questions don't shout, they whisper. But whispers, when repeated inside the mind, can become a storm. At this stage, something beautiful happens. The shy soul stops running from fear and begins to walk toward it, slowly, cautiously, but with intent. They realize that the life they dream of, connection, expression, courage, meaning, exists on the other side of vulnerability. They realize that fear is not an enemy but a threshold. And when they cross it, piece by piece, the world begins to shift. They speak up once. Their voice shakes, but it emerges. They try something new: art, conversation, a small risk. Their hands tremble, but they act anyway. They reveal a fragment of who they truly are, and someone understands them. That one moment of understanding becomes fuel, like oxygen meeting fire. And here is the philosophical truth no one teaches shy children. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is fear transformed into movement. For quiet souls, courage grows slowly but powerfully. The more they act, the more they realize that the world did not collapse when they spoke. The sky did not fall when they stepped forward. In fact, people begin to listen more seriously because their words are intentional, thoughtful, and rare. The shy soul learns that their voice, precisely because it was once hidden, now carries unexpected weight. And with each step forward, the inner universe they have cultivated for years begins to open outward. Their creativity, once trapped inside, finds expression in writing, music, ideas, leadership, empathy, or innovation. Their sensitivity, once overwhelming, becomes their greatest strength, allowing them to understand others in ways the louder world cannot. Their intuition, once doubted, becomes their most reliable guide. Their depth, once dismissed, becomes their identity. They realize, I was never shy, I was becoming. This awakening also brings a deeper awareness. The world desperately needs the gifts of the quiet ones. Loud noise cannot replace deep insight. Constant talking cannot replace genuine understanding. And speed cannot replace wisdom. The quiet one steps forward not to join the noise, but to balance it. They give the world something it rarely receives: clarity, depth, emotional intelligence, reflection, gentleness paired with strength. And because these qualities were forged in silence, they are unshakable. But perhaps the most profound moment arrives when the quiet soul looks back and sees the truth. The shy child they once were was not broken, defective, or weak. That child was gathering strength the entire time. That child was developing a mind that could see beneath the surface. That child was training the heart to feel deeply. That child was building an inner world strong enough to hold the outer one. Everything they feared was preparing them. Everything they avoided was shaping them. Everything they kept inside was refining them. And now, as the quiet one rises, they ask themselves one final question, one that echoes through the chambers of their entire life. If I spent my childhood hiding my truth, am I ready now to live my adulthood revealing it? Because the moment they answer yes, destiny shifts. The universe opens. And the quiet one becomes unstoppable, not loud, but powerful. Not reckless, but intentional. Not the shadow, but the source of light they always carried within. The secret life of the shy child ends here. The real life, the chosen, awakened, fearless life begins now.